Welcome to the e-learning module, Leadership and AI. I, Dr. Pooja Singh Negi, Assistant Professor from Management Education and Research Institute. Under Unit 2nd of Leadership Skills and Competencies, we will discuss the growth and the importance of empathy in leadership to improve employee well-being and productivity. Therefore, today's the learning objectives of the module are firstly, the growth and importance of empathy in leadership. Secondly, to improve employee well-being and their productivity. So let's take best example of businesses leader who have not only inspired others with their success but have earned the respect of the people. They work with the thanks to their emotional intelligence. Elon Musk, CEO of Tesla and SpaceX, after claims of the higher than average injury rate at Tesla factory, Elon Musk urged workers to report all injuries, adding the personally visit the factory floor and perform the same task as injured Tesla staff. In an email to workers, Elon Musk wrote, "No words can express how much I care about your safety and well-being. It breaks my heart when someone is injured building cars and trying their best to make Tesla successful. Going forward, I have asked that every injury be reported directly to me without exception. I am meeting with the safety team every week and would like to meet every injured person as soon as they are well so that I can understand from them exactly what we need to do to make it better. I will then go down to the production line and perform the same tasks that they perform." This is what all managers at Tesla should do as a matter of course. At Tesla, we lead from the front line, not from the some safe and comfortable tower. So managers must always put their team safety above their own. As you can see, Musk used some strong phrases in his email such as "how much I care" and "it breaks my heart." Actions speak louder than words. Musk offered to work alongside factory workers with a goal to better understand their perspective, shows that he genuinely cares, although time consuming for a CEO known for working 18 to 19 hours a week. This exercise builds empathy and can be motivating for the employees. In contemporary business, empathy and emotional intelligence are particularly important qualities for successful leaders. The ability to recognize, assess, and react to one's own emotions as well as those of others is a common definition of emotional intelligence. A fundamental aspects of emotional intelligence, empathy, entails sharing and comprehending another person's emotions. When combined, these abilities are crucial for executives who want to promote genuine teamwork and propel their organization forward. The importance of emotional intelligence in leadership cannot be overstated. Leaders with high emotional intelligence are better equipped to handle the complexities of decision making, team management, and conflict resolution. They are also more likely to inspire and motivate their teams effectively. Further, emotional intelligence and empathy, how both work for leaders. The increasing significance of empathy in leadership to enhance worker productivity and well-being. The capacity to identify and control your own emotions as well as those of people around you is known as emotional intelligence. The psychologist Daniel Goleman popularized the term after researchers and Peter initially used it in 1990. The most effective leaders are all alike in one crucial way. They all have a high degree of what has come to be known as emotional intelligence. Goleman said in an interview with the Harvard Business Review over 10 years ago, emphasizing the value of emotional intelligence in leadership. It's not the technical proficiency and IQ are unimportant, although these are the prerequisites for the executive roles, they do matter. Emotional intelligence often prefer several key skills grouped with the four main components. The first one is the self-awareness, where we recognize one's own emotions and their effect. As a leader, self-management is important because it handles personal emotions in healthy ways and adapting to changing circumstances. Social awareness, where it's sensing, understanding, and reacting to the emotions of others. Lastly, relationship management, where inspiring, influencing, and developing others while managing conflict. As a leader, how to strengthen your emotional intelligence. As a leader, strengthening your emotional intelligence requires strong self awareness. There are several ways you can develop self awareness, including first is journaling. Record and reflect daily on how your emotions influence your decision making, interactions, and meetings, whether positive or negative, so you know what to repeat or avoid in the future. Second, undergo a 360-degree assessment. Actively seek feedback from your manager, colleagues, and peers while also undergoing an individual self-assessment. Comparing the results will surface any blind spots or leadership gaps. Third, practice active listening. Put away distractions, focus on what the speaker is saying and shows you are engaged by paraphrasing and using non-verbal cues like nodding. Fifth, pay attention to your emotions, because if you start feeling a particularly strong emotions, reflect on why you are feeling that way and what prompted the strong emotional responses. This will help you to become more aware of your emotions and better understand your colleagues' feeling and perspectives. And the last is take an online course or training. These foundation steps in self-awareness and empathy are essential for building a robust emotional intelligence framework. This set the stage for a deeper exploration of 4 core competencies crucial for effective leadership. So, the power of empathy in leadership is quite important. A more cohesive team and stronger rapport can result when leaders show empathy by trying to put themselves in their colleagues' shoes. When people show no, they can ask questions, voice concern, or admit when they are wrong. It fosters a climate of trust and psychological safety. Center for Creative Leadership has found a direct correlation between leaders and demonstrate empathy and their employees' level of job satisfaction and performance. What are the 3 types of empathy in leadership that we need to very consider it? They are more to be demonstrating empathy as a leader than simply listening more. Empathy as a workplace commitment takes 3 major forms. So these forms are, the first one is the emotional empathy, cognitive empathy, and compassionate empathy. Emotional empathy, also known as affective empathy, emotional empathy, is rooted in responding to people's emotions. Although useful in most sectors, it is especially required in roles like healthcare, coaching, and HR. Cognitive empathy, when putting mentally oneself in another person's shoes, allows one to experience cognitive empathy. Cognitive empathy is concerned with the mental operations, whereas emotional empathy is primarily concerned with feelings. Cognitive empathy can be described as getting into someone's head. For managers, being able to put themselves in their workers' shoes help them to empathize and comprehend them better. One of the most important ways to show emotional intelligence at work is through cognitive empathy. While compassionate empathy, it is a combination of emotional and cognitive empathy, known as compassionate empathy, is the most effective method currently available. So, according to the author, a famous psychologist and author, compassionate empathy is when we not only understand a person's feel with them but are spontaneously moved to help if needed, because it makes use of both emotional and cognitive empathy. Compassionate empathy is an essential talent for human resource professionals to have. Striking a balance between the emotional and cognitive empathy is the best approach to demonstrate compassion and understanding. When employees bring up difficult or unpleasant complaints in meeting and to provide solutions that everyone can agree upon. Now let's understand why is compassion empathy is important in leadership. Having compassion as a leader is very crucial, even more so than inspiring corporate achievement. It enables manager to detect and more significantly comprehend when a team member of colleague is going through a tough time. So whether the authentic leadership is having the emotional intelligence, authentic leadership is rooted in self-awareness and relational transparency. Leaders who are genuine and open in their interactions are seen as more trustworthy and ethical, because high intelligence contribute to these perceptions because it enhances leaders' ability to connect with others on a deeper, more personal level. So emotional intelligence fosters collaboration. Office environments today are team oriented, and the ability to sense and understand the dynamic of a group is invaluable. Emotionally intelligent leaders are basically adaptable and encourage teamwork and manage conflicts in a way that respects all parties' feelings and perspectives. Their capacity to navigate complex personal interactions can often lead to better collaborative outcomes. So, developing emotional intelligence and empathy as a leader become mandatory. Fortunately, emotional intelligence and empathy are not innate traits but skills that can be developed through deliberate practice. Techniques such as self-reflection, active listening, perspective taking, and seeking feedback going to be considered as effective method for improving these abilities. Continuous learning or personal growth are essential for leaders who wish to enhance their emotional intelligence. Emotional intelligence leadership in actions. We can take one example also. Real world examples of emotional intelligence leadership often illustrate its impact on organizational success. Leaders like Satya Nadella of the Microsoft have been credited with transforming their company's culture through empathy and emotional intelligence, leading to increased innovation and better financial performance of the organizations. Considering the challenges and considerations, while empathy and emotional intelligence bring number of benefits, they must be balanced and assertiveness and boundary setting. Leaders also need to remain authentic and maintain their emotional intelligence in high stress situation, which requires a deep understanding of one's emotions and clear strategies for managing them. So basically the future of emotionally intelligent leadership is as organizations increasingly recognize the importance of diversity, equity, inclusion, and emotional intelligence and empathy are becoming essential for leaders. These skills help in understanding and valuing diverse perspectives and experiences, which is crucial for the business of global and culturally diverse team. Furthermore, in the era of remote and hybrid work, these competencies will play a pivotal role in managing team effectively. The growth importance of empathy in leadership to improve employee well-being and productivity. When employees feel understood and cared for by their superiors, it boosts morale, which in turn fosters better working relationships, a more positive company culture, and increased efficiency and effectiveness. So basically these four essentials results would not be able to be maintained over time if empathy were not there. The capacity to identify with the experience another person's emotional state is known as empathy. Being empathetic at words is taking the time to identify and comprehend the feelings, perspective, and experiences of one's superior peers and clients. When we respond compassionately, it's like taking empathy to the next level. Participating rather than merely listening is the key. So let's discuss the 8 essential elements of empathy in the workplace. So let's discuss the first one, building strong relationships with the co-workers, and a supportive company culture begin with showing empathy. And the second one is the capacity to hear and understand another person's perspective is going to be fundamental to develop empathy. Being an active listener is paying close attention to the speaker, processing and what they say, and then reacting intelligently. Viewpoint shifting, the capacity to empathize with the understand other person's perspective is central to the quality. It necessitates putting one's own biases aside and actively seeking to comprehend and struggles, goals and experiences of others. And the fourth one is having an open mind. When individuals engage with others in the workplace, they are more likely to show empathy since they are not biased or predetermined. Having a non-judgmental attitude means not passing judgment on others' people's ideas and feelings and instead just accepting them as the way they are. And the fifth one is caring behavior. Having empathy is the emotions and caring behavior is the deed. Having empathy isn't enough. You also need to do all you can to help the people you are trying to understand. The sixth one is the cultural sensitivity that fosters our inclusive environment where every person, irrespective of their background, feels respected and understood and allows for more efficient communications by reducing the misunderstandings. The seventh, last but not least, empathy in the workplace is being able to provide and receive constructive criticism. Instead than focusing on criticism, empathetic feedback encourages development and progress. All of these things come together to make teams stronger, which in turn boost morale and productivity. Now let's discuss what are the 7 reasons and why being empathetic at work is going to be very beneficial for the organizations. There are several ways in which empathetic workplace can benefit a company and its workers. 7 of these advantages will be discussed as of now. The first one is the collaboration on a team. Empathy is a driving force behind better teamwork. Teams are more likely to communicate well and work together when members recognize and values one another's unique viewpoint. The second one is employees' engagement. When employees work in a compassionate workplace, they feel more value and part of the team. Employees are more inclined to put their hearts into their job when they sense that their superiors and co-workers understand and support them. Satisfaction of customers. Having empathy at work has a favorable effect of connections with customers even beyond encounters with the workers. Workers who are shown empathy at work are more inclined to provide clients and the same level of understanding. The fourth one is health and happiness. A supportive workplace can lessen the impact of stress and keep employee more burning out. Workers are better able to handle stress on the job when they feel heard and cared for. The ability to empathize with others make the workplace a more secure place for the employees to voice their opinion and try new things, which in turn fosters innovation and creativity. The fifth one is resolving the conflicts. Disputes will arise. Constructive conflict resolution, however, requires the mindset and resources that an empathetic setting offers. People are more inclined to approach arguments with understanding and a desire to find solutions that actually benefits all the parties when empathy is going to be treated as core value. As a result, disagreements are resolved more quickly, have less of adverse effect on them, on team chemistry, and can be turned into chances for development and progress. The sixth one is strengthening team. Increasing productivity and cultivating a healthy company culture can all be achieved through the power of empathy. The seventh one is difficulties in establishing a caring work environment. The advantages of empathy in the workplace are obvious, but it isn't easy to establish and sustain an empathic culture. It isn't due to a lack of awareness that helping others is the moral thing to do, rather. 8 ways to foster compassion on the job. In order to create a more compassionate workplace, companies can follow these 8 steps. So let's discuss these 8 steps. The first one, to ensure the success of any empathy program. To begin, it is important to inform executives of the real advantages of empathy at work, like enhanced team perform, more innovation and better employee retention rates. Give leaders concrete resources that they can utilize to demonstrate empathy in their everyday encounters. Leadership that emphasize empathy delivers a strong message to employees about the value of this quality. One idea to form an empathy leadership council consisting of senior executives who can work together on initiatives to increase empathy and exchange ideas on what has worked. In order to make sure that empathy is thoroughly ingrained in the organizational culture, it is important to have leaders completely on board. This creates a top-down strategy that supports grassroots initiatives. The second is implement consistent empathy training. Create all-encompassing programs for teaching empathy that extend beyond occasional seminars. Skills like active listening, considering other points of view, and emotional intelligence. These all are essentials for effective empathy, should be the primary focus of these programs. Workers are reminded of the importance of empathy via regular training sessions, which also give them the chance to practice and improve their abilities in a risk-free setting. Let's discuss the third point, that make it possible for workers in different divisions or teams to collaborate on projects. This will encourage cross-functional collaborations. Workers develop empathy for one another when they gain familiarity and the experience with a variety of workers, methods, and perspectives. Mixed team projects like job rotation programs and interdepartmental mentoring initiatives are all great ways to encourage cross-functional collaborations. The fourth one is make onboarding more empathetic. Integrate the development of empathy in the staff onboarding process. Some ways to achieve the goal include introducing empathy-focused modules during orientation, matching new recruits with mentors who can help them develop their empathy, or integrating exercises to cultivate empathy throughout the initial months of employment. Making empathy a priority right now send a message about how valuable it for the company. The fifth, encourage the practice of mindfulness. Make use of mindfulness activities and techniques at work. Emotional regulations or self-awareness are cornerstones of empathy, and mindfulness can help cultivate both. Creating peaceful areas for contemplations, promoting brief mindfulness breaks during the workday, or providing classes in the mindfulness or meditations are all ways to achieve these goals. The sixth is to affect change via storytelling. Make use of narrative to encourage compassion. Company newsletters, team meetings, or storytelling events are the great venues for employees to share their experiences, both professional as well as personal. Members of a team are more likely to develop empathy and understanding for one another when they listen to the stories and viewpoints of others. Seventh, set up systems that allow for 360-degree feedback. Incorporate comments from subordinates, bosses, and colleagues into through feedback systems. An employee's empathy and other social skills can be better understood with the multi-phase methods. It also pushes workers to think about the consequences of their actions on people higher up the corporate ladder. The eighth is the make individuals pay their empathy. Making empathy more than simply a phrase requires holding people accountable if we want to become a persistent practice. As a part of this plan, we will make it crystal apparent that we expect everyone in the company to act with empathy. It equally crucial to consistently and quickly address actions and their impair empathy. A fundamental value and expected component of every functions is empathy, and holding all members of the organization from senior leadership to entry level employees accountable sends the message that this is the case. So let's conclude about the emotional intelligence and leadership involvement. Emotional intelligence and empathy are more than just useful skills. They are foundational to effective, authentic leadership. By fostering an emotionally intelligent leadership style, professionals and executives can lead their organizations towards greater collaborations, employee engagement, and overall success. Let us continue to cultivate these critical skills to drive positive change and achieve new heights in our professional environments. I hope this session is clear. Thank you and happy learning.